Hello and welcome. I am Paco Garcia and the Free Leaguer, and this channel we talk all about Free League stuff. And today I am going to be talking about the Alien Evolved Edition role-playing game. Just so you know, I am trying because I'm having some difficulties with the sound in this room until I manage to put some panels. I am going to try a slightly different approach to these reviews that I'm doing. And I would really appreciate your feedback. It really means a lot, and it means that I can change and do things better. Because otherwise, how am I going to tell you properly if this game is actually worth the amount of money that you have to spend to get your hands on it? Let's find out, shall we? When the first Alien movie was released more years ago than I care to remember because it makes me feel really old, the slogan "In space no one can hear you scream" sent shivers down people's spines, and understandably. However, at your table, everyone can hear you scream, and you could end up actually doing it. This is the Alien Evolved Edition role-playing game that was released after Free League did a very successful Kickstarter campaign. Like its first edition, it oozes atmosphere from the film to a T, the flickering emergency lights, a mother terminal that doesn't quite trust you and that you probably shouldn't trust either, and something, perhaps that something, moving in the air ducts that definitely is not on the crew manifest. If you love the movies, this game wants you to live them. The dread, the grimy future tech, the feeling that every job is one bad roll away from a bloodbath. You know, kind of the fun bits from the movie. Let's dig into a little bit of history, though. The Alien RPG first landed back in 2019, and it was a hit even before it hit the shelves. The Year Zero engine was adapted to host very clean horror mechanics that are fit for one of the most iconic sci-fi settings ever. What I'm looking at now is the Evolved Edition. This is a second edition of the game, designed and built from years of actual play and feedback from the players. It is pretty much the same game though. It's been tightened up, the rules have been streamlined, the organization is better, but everything is compatible with the older material. So if you are a long-time fan, you'll still be able to use all the adventures and expansions from the first edition. Let's look at the book. Honestly, flipping through this book is an experience. It is very moody, it's painterly, and the art looks like stills pulled straight from one of the films. You know, corpses with burst chests, blood spatter surgeries, xenomorphs looming out of the dark, or bodies. The layout is clean, it is functional, but it still keeps all that atmosphere. It is very different from the first edition though, with white pages instead of black, so although the atmosphere remains, the style definitely changes quite a lot. The sidebars, the tables, and the rules callouts are very easy to find, even when you are mid-session and panicky. Hopefully in character. It's a rule book that, to be honest, is so beautiful and so well designed that it also works as an art book. Let's look at the rules very briefly. Mechanically, this runs on the Year Zero engine. So you roll a pool of 6-sided dice, and any success is just a 6. It's very simple. You can re-roll your dice that are not either 1s or 6s for an extra push that could have some consequences, because, you can roll more 1s. The twist is the stress dice. These are extra dice that represent your character's fraying nerves and that get added as the players face situations that would make them jump in panic. In the previous edition of the game, you had to push in order to get stress dice. This time, no, it's when you actually face a situation, whether you roll or not. Stress dice means that you get better odds because you're adding dice with their numbers, but if the wrong symbol shows up, a 1, you trigger a stress response, or worse, a panic roll that can leave you frozen, screaming, or running blindlessly into the dark corridor, leaving all your friends behind. The great thing about it is that it's a very elegant way to make fear a mechanic. It's not just a flavor. It's not something that you add, just for kicks and screams. The tension in the story and the tension at the table pretty much become the same thing. Unlike the previous edition, as I said, these stress are pretty much unavoidable. And that makes it even scarier than it was the first edition. The character creation is surprisingly quick. You can either be a droid or a human. You pick one of 9 applicable career paths, like, Colonial Marine or a company agent, which locks in a key skill and starting gear. Then spread some points across the 4 attributes and 12 skills. Grab a talent and you're kind of done. The personal touches make the character come to life, though. Everyone is going to pick a personal agenda. It's like a secret goal that your character is going to pursue, plus a buddy, so somebody in the group that you get especially well with, and a rival with your players. So you're going to be building drama at the table even before a Xenomorph shows up or even is known to be about to show up. The book comes with an optional life path system in the back that has you roleplay through your character's messy backstory with random tables with prompts like survive a fire or betrayed by someone you trusted. That kind of thing that helps you build the story from scratch. All of this before you even have a chance to apply for your career, which you could in fact fail at. Yeah, it reminds you of that role-playing game. Either way, you can have a character in about 10 minutes, which is exactly what you want for a horror game where that character might not survive the session. An alien game would be nothing without the Xenomorphs. Probably one of the scariest creatures ever designed. Mechanically, Xenomorphs feel genuinely alien. They're not just reskinned monsters. The game tracks the entire life cycle and stage of a Xeno, from egg to facehugger to chestbuster, all the way up to Praetorians and Queens, and each stage plays differently. In combat, they don't follow the same rules as humans do, or droids. They don't suffer stress, they don't push their rolls, and they're not afraid of anything. Instead of picking an attack, the game mother rolls on a signature attack table each turn. So you don't know what it's going to do. Maybe it paralyzes you with hypnotizing stare, or grapples you in the dark, or just goes straight for an instant kill headbite. So you get that element of surprise when facing a Xeno. You kind of just expect the same thing or be able to do the same thing with every one of them. Every way of dying is different. Even dying for them is different. For example, a drowned Xenomorph rolls on its own table and might play dead just long enough to launch back up. And let's remember that their blood is acid. So even winning a fight up close can be lethal. So what about the rest of the book? Beyond character creation and core rules, this book is really packed with information. You get spaceships and vehicle combat, deep lore on the Weyland-Yutani corporate empire and the wider frontier and other corporations, tools for building your own star systems, your own colonies, campaign frameworks for playing space trackers, colonial marines, or just, frontier settlers. Basically, absolutely everything a game mother needs to run, not just a one-shot movie-style adventure, but really be able to design long-term campaigns all in the same book. So 3 reasons to love it. Well, why have I loved this game? 1, the setting lore. Seriously, between the corporations, the frontier territories, the timeline stretching across the whole franchise, you get such a holistic and full view of the universe that really drives you in and encourages you and rewards for wanting to find out more and dig into what's happening there and then. It is not just, a backdrop for you to go out there and face a Xeno and see how long it takes for you to die, or to recreate the movies. It really opens the world for a unique adventure. Second, it's a great combination of 2 totally different ways of playing. I love how you can run a really tight, very scripted cinematic one-shot, like a horror movie with a beginning, a middle, and an end, or change very quickly into running a really long campaign as, a space trucker or a colonial marine or a company agent that's been sent to find out something as one of your jobs, with your own ship, your own colony. Again, same rulebook, same system, but different types of gameplay, and you can change it really from session to session pretty, seamlessly. I hate that word. 3, I love that it doesn't pull its punches. This is a lethal game because, it's a lethal universe and it's a brutal universe. So character death is expected. And to be honest, I think to some degree it would be disappointing if it wasn't there. Gear runs out and replacing it is not cheap. And the game actively wants you to feel unsafe and on edge. And this may not sound like fun, but it is, because it is part of what the game does best. If you ever want to know what it is like to, be a crew of the Nostromo and try to be Ripley, or just play in the same universe as the latest TV series, you cannot miss this game. You really have to give it a go. Thank you very, very much. I really hope that you've enjoyed this format. I would very much appreciate if you could let me know so I can do things this way in the future, or if you'd rather that I do something a little bit more improvised. And by all means, do let me know what else you would like to see, because although I have a couple of Dragonbane books to take a look at and review very soon, and I am reading Replicant Rebellion from the Blade Runner, which is I have mixed feelings about thus far, and I have the Invincible RPG that I'm desperate to do the unboxing video so I can read the starter set and hopefully play it as well. Please let me know, what would you like to see in this channel, because quite frankly, to me, this channel means very little if I'm not giving you something that you really want to see and watch and use. So I very much look forward to hearing from you, and thank you very, very much. Take care.